going on, guys? DrumQuig podcast episode 27. Yes, we're already running through 27. I got a super cool guest with me tonight because this is somebody who kind of been out of the scene for a little bit and has this triumphant return in 2026. So without further ado, Brad Moxey with Evergreen Terrace. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Like right off the bat, you had a lot of time in the band. All of a sudden, this announcement comes out right around the same time we end up booking the show. Like, didn't even know that was kind of a thing. So like talk me through like what it's like again to be back and sitting in the beat room slash garage.
It's really good. It was kind of a lot all at once. Like I've always been friends with those guys. Actually, even before Craig, who's basically kind of the mastermind of most of the band. Even before he was in the band, they opened up for my old band, and that was in like 2000 or 2000. Or no, God, yeah, that was actually 99. Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're pushing it back there.
Yeah, so I've known them longer than that. So we've always been friends. Craig and I are definitely pretty close because he's 48, I'm 47. We both have kids, so obviously um we both kind of grew up on like a lot of Metallica and stuff, so we share that common. I don't know, he's just like a really good songwriter. It's just cool. I'm sorry, I'm dancing around your question, but yeah, it's definitely great to be back. I honestly never thought it was something that I would do. Just at the time that I stopped playing, I was just kind of frustrated with the whole, not the band, but just like in general. I was playing actually with them, a country artist named JB Crockett, who was based out of Nashville. And I don't know, it's just kind of frustrated with the whole thing. I've spent most of my adult life working and playing in a band. So it's like two lives, and
Yeah.
I think it just kind of came to a head. And like my son's mom and I had split up, and
Mhm.
he moved with me. And, naturally with that, he was going through a lot of stuff. And really the only person that could help him was it had to come from me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
my wife's been awesome and patient with him and stuff. And, there's obviously behavior stuff that kind of comes with divorce sometimes. And
yeah. Oh, I've been there.
I just basically got to a point where I was like, I had put so much into it and I had tried so hard that I almost like kind of hated it in a way. At the end, it's like, I don't know. Because I tried to make it my life and my full time living for so long, and got close, but it just couldn't, it just wouldn't happen. It's just, I think a lot of it's weird timing with the changing of the music industry, everything becoming digital and
For sure.
budgets and just it was, I don't know. It's just, I honestly was like over it. I literally sold all my gear
That one
because I
that
was
one hurts.
buying a truck. Yeah, I'd had a construction business for a long time, but when you're putting half your time into something else, the other thing suffers, obviously. So for the first time, I was able to put full time effort into just that. And so I got a truck for work, obviously. Yeah, I mean, I had no regrets about selling it for the longest time. It's really strange because, like I said, I've talked to those guys lots of times over the years that I haven't been in the band. I don't know. It's just one of the last times we talked, it just kind of felt like, well, maybe this is something I should be doing. Because there's been changes in the band too. Like two of the guys got sober, and
Mm,
so, they're definitely taking things a lot more seriously. And I think just getting older too makes you want, everyone kind of wants to put their best foot forward and, really knock it out of the park and try and make the live show the best thing it can be, try and write the best song you can. I think before they just kind of got lucky, you know what I mean? Like they were always having fun and they were always good. You know,
Yeah.
they always put 110% into the live shows, so they've always built a fan base and around that. Um, but I feel like now, we can step it up even more, you know?
And I think that's kind of exciting about that because, in 2022, like everything I read just kind of was not even close to, what you were going through. Cause, it was just like quit music. Like obviously there was something going on. And I really appreciate you sharing like all those details because again, like that was a hard time in your life. And like I've been through divorce, like, we've been through all that with my family. Like I've been that kid. So I
Yeah.
know how that feels.
Yeah.
And you dropping everything, you had to do that, and you did the right thing. I don't think there's any question about that because
No, even everyone in the band has said that to me. I mean, they definitely weren't like happy about it. And the timing was really bad because we were going to leave for a European tour in like 2 or 3 months.
mm,
But I was just like, I know if I go on this tour, it's going to just cause irreparable damage to my new marriage and to my relationship with my son. It just wasn't, it was just a really bad, and I felt terrible, because besides being people that I am in a band with, they're like literally we're all friends, first.
yeah,
So I felt bad having to turn my back on them in a way. But it's kind of like, you're going to turn your back on your friends or your son, that's kind of what it got to.
yeah, and
And
you
like I said, I felt guilt. I did feel terrible about it,
of
and I
course,
did my best. I actually was like, maybe you should talk to LP, because they needed someone just to at least do the tour.
yeah.
I have known him since '98.
My gosh,
Yeah, it's crazy because sorry if I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but like, when you're learning to play drums and you're like, you feel like you're making some headway, right? And you're like, okay, like I can play such and such a song, or I can, whatever, I can play this one fill. Like I'm getting somewhere. Like, okay, like I feel, and I had just started playing like in my first band, and they were like, oh, yeah, you wait till you see LP. He's the drummer for this band, Yellow Card. And they were like totally different then.
oh yeah, way
It
back
was like,
then, yeah,
yeah, it was very like fast punk rock and like stuff like that. I remember, like, seeing him and immediately being like, "Oh, I'm not good." You know what I mean? Like, when you see someone like that, you
you just want to
realize, like,
throw the sticks.
okay,
You're like, I'm done, like I'm out.
well, I was just like, I have much further to go than I have realized. I had never seen anyone play a single pedal like that before or play it, like, real
Mm,
fast. It was just stuff I wasn't exposed to, And, yeah, and he could play all these crazy fills and stuff, so it's kinda, like, crazy because he had a lot to do with me realizing, like, "Oh, there's more work to be done," you know?
yeah, and I know like him, he was with the band going on 3 years at this point.
Right.
And like I said, the articles don't paint it the best picture, and I'm just, just saying what I've read, not saying what's true, but you knowing LP that long, like, was there a conversation between you guys like, "Hey, like, I'm back," or like,
No, he had texted me on the day that they split up and, asked me, like, if I was coming back or whatever, and to be honest, I just didn't reply because I didn't wanna, like, start a back and forth. I mean, I tell people all the time that he is one of those people that's, like, naturally gifted. Like, he doesn't have to try. I don't know if anyone knows this, but, like, he used to tour. His dad was, like, a famous, trumpet player.
mhm,
His
yeah,
name's Longinu Parsons Sue, and so, like, in high school, he was, like, playing in South America with his dad and for, like, these big
jeez,
festivals. But, dude, they were playing, like, fusion and, like, jazz and stuff, and, like, you can't, like, memorize the music or know, you just have to, like, be immersed.
you have to feel it.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, he's just, like, and I feel like too, like, all the Yellow Card records that he played on, like, Ocean Avenue and stuff, like, they wouldn't be the same record without, like, his style.
100
playing.
100% agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a producer obviously was like, "Okay, turn this down 25%, turn this up 10%," like, God, they got it out of him, I mean, he's definitely like, those records wouldn't be the same without him.
Mm-mm. No, and I mean the Ocean Avenue fill, even as a drummer, just listening to that and you're like, "Man, that's clean." Like,
But yeah.
just even something like that being so simple, but you're right, that's somebody who's feeling it, but that's also somebody who, like you said, the naturally gifted part.
Yeah, I'm always a person that had to put in the work. Like, I'm just not I have never even, like, when we learn new songs, if, like, the kick pattern feels like I don't know, there's something, like, strange, like, you're playing 8 notes on the hi-hat and maybe you're playing a group of 3 on the floor at one part. Those kind of things, I just have to, like, put it on repeat and, like, make it muscle memory, basically.
Yeah. Listen, how long did it take every drummer, just doing the hi-hat snare to not lift your arm every time you wanted to kick? Like we all
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like it we all know it's there. So, moving forward, we talked about kind of you guys, I don't know if is it a tour, but you guys going out and doing shows again. Like, did you think in 2026 you'd still
No.
be doing shows with the guys? Like, this is crazy.
No, yeah, I mean, we recorded a new song. We actually got the final master of that yesterday, or the final mix and master. Um, we're trying to get it out before these shows. That's
Hmm.
like the ultimate plan. I mean, you haven't like made an official announcement or anything, but the goal is to get it out like at least by the day of the first show
Hey, surprise.
because we're gonna play the song. Obviously, I don't want to play a song that no one's heard.
See, I'm on the fence about that because I think we're all in that nostalgia factor, especially with a band that's been around as long as you guys. Like, you're never gonna please everybody in those cases, but I'll use an example. I saw Primus 5 years ago, and they played a bunch of new stuff, and I was like, I don't like any of this. I was like, I don't know any
Yeah.
of this. I don't like it. I respect Primus so much, but it was like it wasn't what I expected, and so I feel
Yeah.
like metal people. You say this is a new song nobody's heard, people are gonna go nuts.
Yeah, and I'm it's definitely a live song. It is not, I will say that it is not a single. It's not like a sing along. I mean, there's actually no clean singing in the song.
Ooh.
And it wasn't like on purpose. I mean, I know there was talks of it, but it just was something it just didn't fit. But I mean, they're still vocally there. I mean, there's Drew, who's like the main singer, and Alex, who plays guitar. There's like some back and forth, like screaming stuff, and there's actually like a cool, creepy talking part, which is it's actually Craig, who's like the main writer, the guy who sings all the cleans.
Yeah.
It's actually his daughter did all like the talking parts.
I love the
That's
family
kind of cool.
aspect. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. It came out cool. It's very, like, I don't know, it's, like, moody, I guess is the word. For the part that it's in, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's weird because if there's no singing, I think there are parts that you would be like, "Oh, this is a Soundgarden song," or, like, you would I mean, we're all from the it's all '90s people, so the influence is definitely there.
For sure. Listen, without the 90s music, metal wouldn't be where it would be, but the metal fans wouldn't be here either. Like, I think it was just greed at that point. We're like, we need more. Like, give me
Yeah.
more. Like, give me something, harder, stronger, faster, more intense. And then you get some of that stuff and you're like, okay, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, man, it's definitely '90s, like, even like, there are no fills that someone's gonna be like, "Oh, I gotta figure out how to do this." Like, it's very caveman-y, but, like, in a Dave Grohl way, I guess I would say.
Listen, you see those videos. Dave Grohl talks about how he stole all his licks from, disco.
Yeah.
And I love it, but it definitely, like, I never heard that. I never caught on to that. And then when I heard it in a different light, I went, "Oh yeah, that's there." But you're right. Sometimes the simple fills, and it's all those videos where it's like what people think is hard for a drummer, and it just shows them going crazy. And they're like, "What's actually hard?" And it's just keeping time.
It's accurate.
I can't help but stare at that brass snare behind you, because
Yeah, I'm like really pumped on it.
how much do your neighbors hate you with that thing? Because I feel like that thing is loud.
Yeah, it's actually been okay. I'm really lucky because we live at a dead end.
Even
So
better.
one of my neighbors, he's like a young guy of the family, and his house is like far enough away. And the guy who lives next to me, uh, it's just him and his two older kids that are like taking care of him.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time they go up north and live where they live, and he stays with them for a while. So
That's
it's
like the
it's pretty
perfect,
ideal.
yeah, that's perfect.
It's really ideal. Yeah, to be honest, I was like the snare actually kind of blew me away because like I liked brass. I always liked bell brass,
Of course, yeah.
but even like with artist pricing, it was just out of reach for me, especially at this time because I basically had to start from zero. And
Mm.
so I got this alpha brass one. It's a SJC snare, and actually, when we recorded in the studio, the guy had me, like, sample it for him because he loved it that much. But it's still, like, even without the bell brass, it still has that same kind of, like, body, but it has, like, crack, you know?
I
So
love that.
that's yeah, man, I love that thing. I mean, and I don't know why, there's just something about a reverse dot that gives me the sound that I want to hear.
It's incredible how different, like, every drummer has their own thing. Like, you'd think, like, drums are basically the same. They're maybe tuned a little different, they look a little different, but the more intricate they get, everybody has their own thing. They have something that they're like, "This is mine. This is what I like. This is what what I like sound-wise. This is perfect." And, I mean, it looks cool as hell too.
Yeah. No, man, I love it. I mean, I definitely, I mean, I like wood snares, but I think definitely for this genre of music, I think a metal kind of snare gives me what I'm looking for, you know?
Necessary.
Yeah. And for some reason, I feel like a 6.5 just works 100 times better than a 5.5 for me. I don't know why. It's just,
That extra little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never played like an 8 or something, but I imagine that would probably be a little too much. But
Yeah, it would look like a tom at that point.
yeah, I know there's like a Vinnie Paul signature snare that's like that. I don't know how that dude did it. He had like 14, 15, and 18 toms.
That dude hit those drums like they were trying to kill him is basically what that was, like,
Yeah, I mean, you had to get a note out of it. Like,
yeah. You say that and, like, we got to see Pantera and Metallica when they came in June, and they had Vinny's face on the bass drums, and I'm looking at Charlie, and I'm like, "You better hit those drums hard, buddy." Like, you gotta hit them hard.
yeah, man. We saw that tour in Tampa, and I thought he did it justice. You know,
Absolutely. Which did you
like
go both
obviously
days?
it's never going to be the same, but
No.
like, what other two people could fill in for those two people, especially on guitar, like, that's a quite the feat, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, if you saw that in Tampa, that's the show I was at, so that's that's pretty crazy.
Sick. So I'll tell you, like, kind of a short, funny story about that. So when I used to live in Dallas, right, for 8 years. That's where lived there with my son's mom, and for a short time, like, maybe 6 months or something, I played in this cover band there, and it was a husband and wife in the cover band.
Mhm.
So I did that for a little while, and then I kinda got over it. I stopped playing stopped playing with them. But we were cool and everything. It's just like it was taking up time. Just wasn't for me. Um, they're like really cool, awesome people. And my wife and I went and saw Corn in Tampa.
Oh, I still haven't seen him.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was really good. Anyway, I'm waiting in line in the bathroom, or I go to get in the bathroom line, and the dude who played guitar and sang in that band was in front of me in line. Like I kind of forgot that because he's in he like trains pilots and stuff. So he had moved here for
Yeah.
a job that he got training pilots. Anyway, it was like so weird to see him, right? And we were just like freaking out that he was like the guy in front of me in the bathroom. And however long later, my wife and I go to Metallica and it's a 2 night thing,
Yeah.
So we like go to get a drink or something, and then we come back to our seat, and they are sitting behind us in the stadium. And here's
Whoa.
the crazy part is that they were behind us the whole first night, but we never like made eye contact or saw them or it was like so strange, right? It's like every show we went to, and it's like a stadium,
Yeah.
a freaking stadium, and you're directly behind me.
That it's funny you brought that up. So we went to the Sunday night show.
Yeah,
We picked up tickets super last minute, but we got them really, really cheap. So we were like section 200. I was worried about the sun. Like the sun was against us. Like we were right next to the AC. I was like, this is great. And my buddy had told me he was going to the show. I looked around the stadium and I went, yeah, no, I'm not going to find you. Like there's
yeah.
no way. Like, and I'm sitting in my seat. I look over and he's walking up the stairs next to me. And I was like, what? I said, there are 100,000 people here. What are the
Yeah,
odds you run it? So for you guys, like, that's crazy. Where were you sitting? Do you remember?
we were, I don't know, maybe like 20 rows back from where the general admission started.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely like they're such like an important band to me that that was like the one thing I was like, okay, I'm willing to like spend some money.
Yeah.
But honestly, for $700 for two people to go for 2 nights is not bad.
No, that's 175 a person. And yeah, I just did that math. Crazy.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, especially to get Pantera and Suicidal, which is always good.
Yeah.
The
Dude,
dude,
Jake
like
killed it. It was crazy.
yeah. And like we actually did this tour in Europe called the Perseverance Tour, and they headlined. It's like a 10 or 15 show tour,
Hmm.
like I think it's like 8 bands or something. And they headlined. And dude, watching them every night was like crazy. And actually at that time, Eric Moore was their drummer, and I was just like, I don't want to play in front of people anymore.
Oh yeah. Eric's fantastic too. And that's what's kind of crazy. Like you're on this tour, you're literally on a European tour. You look at another drummer and you go, can we go first? Can we just, like skip that?
Yeah, dude, they like everyone in that band is like ridiculously good.
Hmm.
Like the bass player that they had, he sadly passed away, but like I know that he like played in the Grammys band and like he was like a session dude. And then one of the guitar players, Nico, he actually plays in that band Darkest Hour now.
Jeez.
But he's played for like a bunch of like super technical, like he is one of those people. He is just ridiculously good at guitar, and he's that whole band is like every time that someone leaves and they bring someone else, I'm like, where do you find these people? Like, you
Well,
know,
and with Suicidal, I think it's kind of cool, like the full circle moment, because you had Robert when before he was in Metallica was in Suicidal at one point, and then his son ends up playing
yeah,
bass that night. And I was like, can you imagine watching your kid on the stage and then you go play? Like, what? That's just
yeah,
crazy.
dude.
So sorry, that was my full. I didn't know
No,
we'd
it's
go off on
great.
that.
It
I
is
love that.
crazy.
Like it's just you look at some of this stuff, and again, like the headline, Brad Moxey 2026 Evergreen Terrace and tour and new song, like none of those things make sense because we never saw that coming. And I love every bit of that. I love like you've posted a bunch more videos of you playing and kind of getting back into the rhythm. I think one of my favorite videos was your wife filming from the outside of the garage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's hopefully a little better because I put up these like black sheets, so I hope that like at least grab some of the high end or something from cutting through, but and I've moved more towards the back of the garage instead of the front closer
Like
to the
right on
door.
the door.
Yeah, but, it's actually, like, great training. I've done it, like, a bunch of times, like, playing in your garage in Florida in the summer with the door closed is, like because honestly, that was, like, one of my biggest concerns is, like, okay, well, I am, basically 4 years older now, but it's 4 years in my late 40s, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's definitely I like, I've been living like I guess basically like suburban life. It gets hot at work, obviously, because I work construction, but it's different because I could be like, all right, I'm hot, and then go inside for a minute, like
Yeah. Is that weird? Like, is it weird to just be like, I can just like go inside, like get some AC? Like,
yeah, yeah. But like when you're playing the shows, obviously you don't get that. And it's like weird because I used to like hate having a fan or anything before because it was like the hotter I got, the looser I was, and like I could basically, like, play anything I could think of, because I was, like, warmed up, like,
yeah,
more
you
than
were ready
warmed
to
up.
go.
But I'm like, "Oh, I need a fan." Even my wife is like, "You should get a fan."
You should get a fan, a big fan at this point.
Yeah. Like a high school gym fan, like
The ones that you were afraid were gonna like blow you over at that stage, where you're
that's
like, oh
right.
my
Yeah, the
god.
cymbals will just be, like, turned in.
Listen, all you need to do is get Aaron Gillespie's drum tech. None of your stuff will move an inch because that dude beats the crap out of that stuff.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, he's, like, another person, like, the first time I saw him play in person, I was like, "Okay, like,
Yeah.
you're really good," but it's like a different kind of good. It's not like, he's playing like 7 over 9 or something. He's just
He's not Marco Miniman, where he's like, okay, I'm gonna play
oh,
seven
yeah.
sixteenths here and 9/16 or Alistair, like just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do four different. I'm like, come on, man. I
Yeah,
was
dude.
like,
I mean, 2 hands is hard enough,
yeah,
But yeah, it's, I mean, the older I get, the more I'm, like, inspired by that kinda stuff instead of being like, "Why am I not" yeah, I think my attitude was like, "Why am I not that good?" Or
yeah.
like, But sometimes it doesn't matter how much you practice, there's certain things, like
They
there's
just don't.
certain people I
Yeah,
could never like, I could never be John Bonham. I could never no matter how much time you put into it or, like it's because I always try and remind myself too, like people like that, like not only could they play that stuff, but they came up with it.
yeah. And it's funny. We've had this like weird trend where I just randomly pick a vinyl album to put behind me, and it's over here. It's Led Zeppelin 2.
Nice.
So I was like, I swear you watched the last episode because we literally talked about how much we love Metallica and how much John Bonham like played a part and how he really a lot of the times does not get the credit he deserves.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely anyone who plays any sort of rock drumming, definitely. I mean, whether you know it or not, you're stealing from him.
I love that.
I mean, it's just somebody we could all aspire to be. He's like smooth and sleek when he needs to be, but he's also very animalistic, but also like, I don't know, like when he play, like when you watch his solos and stuff, it's like from his heart. He's not like, okay, I'm going to make all these people like think I'm awesome. He's just like playing something, whatever's coming to mind.
Yeah. And I think this is the third episode in a row that I get to say Moby Dick
That's
because that
right.
solo still is just so crazy to think about. Like when I first heard that, I had no idea he was doing that with his hands. And
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
watch him do it and you go, oh my God. Like it's one thing that Portnoy likes to do it all the time. He'll hit the cymbal with his hand. And I was like, I know that hurts. I've done that. That hurts.
Yeah.
But to sit there and play all your drums and to then groove right back into the song. Ugh.
Well, and plus too, like back then there wasn't like the best drumsticks and the best gear and he was doing all that stuff.
It's wild to think about that. It really is. And like how he influenced so many people.
But yeah, it's like, okay, well that's a tattoo that Dave Grohl has, so you know that it must be something.
I was like, I saw one on your arm, but I couldn't figure out what it was. So you got a couple yourselves there.
Yeah, I got a Bonham.
I was gonna say, I thought
Let
that
me
was a
see if I can. Yeah, there's
oh
the
my
little symbol.
oh my gosh. So I didn't wanna call it Bonham and be like, "That's my dad, man." Like, "What are you doing?" Like
It's all right. People ask me all the time if it's Jesus because it's like him when he had a beard. I'm like, I mean, the Jesus of drumming, right? I mean,
yeah, let's call him that. Everybody gets their own nickname, so
that's right.
obviously besides Bonham and Lars, we've talked about how influential, Metallica again. I'm surprised how much has come up lately, but I don't mind because we always joke that like Metallica's the only band I can name every album in order when they came
Yeah.
out up until like the last two or three. And it's one of those things where it's like people, I'm just gonna say it, people shit on Lars way too much. And
Yeah. I mean, it's the same. He's kind of the same thing like as Bonham for me. I feel like he was coming up with stuff.
yeah,
Like actually Craig Reynolds, the guy that does the Downbeat podcast.
hmm
I heard him say once, he's like, I think that Lars invented the snare and cymbal together. He's like, I feel like before that, everyone only hit cymbals with kick drums.
my God. I'm gonna have to do some research now, man.
I mean, but I feel like that's accurate, like there's all kinds of things. Like, I mean, I would basically say like that is my number one. That's probably where I get my most influence. I would say because I mean, he's just kind of like live, even now, he's an all in
Yeah,
kind of player.
he looked like he ran like 8 marathons by the time he was done, and I loved every
Yeah.
second of it.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. I always felt like he played the drums as like he was a producer more than a drummer. You know what I mean? Like he'd be like, "Okay, that's a good riff and all right, I'm going to set it up like this and then we're going to come in like this and then when the verse starts, we're going to go halftime or whatever and then."
Yeah, and I mean, so who else is on that list for you? Like knowing how influential Lars, because Lars is in a realm of his own. Like he
Right.
is, there's some people say he's the greatest drummer. There's some people who don't. They'll argue it all day long. But what he did for drumming just pushed everything into kind of a new era of, like you said, different sound, different everything. And now, like, I'm not going to be able to forget what you just said about the snare and the cymbal. Like, not like thinking about all the songs, and you're right. Like, it was on an offbeat or it was on its own, or
Right, yeah. At least I don't remember hearing anything like that before. Yeah, there's that, and obviously, I mean, so I really liked him. I like Nick Menza from Megadeth and it's all kind of the same era. I mean, definitely Dave Lombardo.
Slayer. Yep.
Yeah, and like that era, like Seasons of the Abyss, Slayer. But I would say probably the top three are like John Bonham, Lars, and Neil Peart. But I feel like Neil kind of did the same thing that Lars did in a way, which was like he could take the first and second verse and play them in a slightly different way that made the song better, you
Yeah.
know? Or like if a part repeats again, he had these different ways of like flipping it or changing it around with in
Wait,
the
what?
same way, I guess playing like a producer, you
Yeah.
know?
And you see that. And the only one that comes to mind now is like Steve Jordan with Journey, completely different genre of music. But even like when something's repeating and adding that extra thing, Neil did the same thing. Lars did the same thing, where it wasn't just we're playing the same thing over and over and over. Like, oh, this verse
Yeah.
repeated. We're going to change something on here. We're going to just add a little something in there. And I think you're right. Thinking of it like a producer instead of just a drummer.
Yeah, I mean, I could listen to his like tom rolls like all day long.
Listen, the O Bateratista, the Russian Rio,
Yeah.
I think I broke that DVD because I watched it so many times because I'm just like, he is just back and forth, back and forth. And I guess like I'm kind of curious on everybody in the drumming aspect. Like, how do you feel about them being on tour again without
I
him?
think it's great. I mean, Uh, they gave it 10 years, to which 10 years at their age is a long time.
Yeah.
It's like, well, how long could they actually tour and like keep it up? I mean, because I feel like ultimately, if one of them passes away, then that's definitely going to be it.
Yeah, 100%.
And like, I definitely will advocate usually for bands that keep going because, it's the other people's lives too, you know? Like their life, the thing they love doesn't necessarily have to end just because, obviously they need a time to, there's time to mourn, there's time to decide like, will we ever do this again? Well, it's
Yeah.
kind of, and it must be a timing thing because that's kind of like how I felt about Evergreen. Like it just made sense like one day, you
I
know?
love that though, like, that's the coolest thing ever, like, to get that back
Yeah.
after
And
4
yeah.
years.
And I've had like people that ask me to like play stuff in the studio for them or like do something like that. And I mean, and I was being honest, I would just be like, no, like that part of my life's done. Like I'm just not interested in diving back into that. Like, and obviously I hadn't played in a long time. So it's like, I can't just show up to the studio and play your song. Like I have no chops. I don't even have an instrument, to play it on for you, like, but, yeah, it's been great. I don't know. It's kinda like going back in time, but, like, in a good way.
Yeah. Dude, I love that. And I think it's kind of a super exciting thing. And I know the only show, obviously, I know off the top of my head is the Bradenton show on June 6th at
5th.
obscure. Is it the 5th or
Oh, it's the 6th. You're
it's
right.
a
I'm so sorry.
Saturday? Yeah. I was
Yeah,
like,
because
if it's
there's
the
no Friday.
yeah, if it was the 5th, I definitely couldn't make it because that's Stuart Copeland night. Yeah, I'm excited about that, and I'm still on the fence about literally buying just a Tama, like, 5 by 10 snare, just the tiniest one I can find, showing up to the meet and greet and being, "Can you just hit this once?" And he hits
Yeah.
it and signs it, and I'm just gonna mount it on the wall.
Dude, yes. No, I mean, he's like another one that's like such a trailblazer kind of.
Yeah, and that's, when I think about the 5 that, always come up on my list, obviously Neil, obviously Lars, Mike Portnoy, Dream Theater, and
Yeah.
then you've got Stuart Copeland and Carter Beauford from Dave Matthews. Like, it's a weird kind of collection of guys, but every single one of them have shaped my love for drumming, like everything about it and everything moving forward. And I feel like, in the way that like when Portnoy left, there was all the things where he was playing in the 2 bands, wanted some time off, but he still stayed
Yeah.
friends with most of the band. These guys
Yeah.
all grew up together, their kids, knew each other, like all that stuff. And when he came back into the band, I kind of like that's the thought process I had of you going back where you're like, we're all still friends. Like this isn't gonna be like a bunch of strangers. Like I know what I'm walking into, but you had to be there. Like you had to be ready for that to be the time.
Yeah. I mean, it just worked out because like, I think they were at a crossroads with him, and it just kind of was like there wasn't, like, a time period where they, like, didn't have a drummer,
Yeah, it's
you
like
know?
it went straight over. Like
Yeah, it just kinda was like, "Okay." And to be honest, like, the funny part was, like, I mean, you know how things are online, right? They just, like, take it and run with it.
yeah.
Like, I had talked to Craig, and I was very, like, well, I'm gonna like think about it and kind of like weigh my options. Like, I need to figure out if I can even like get gear and like, will anyone endorse me and like, the financial burden of that. And like, I just need to figure out like, is it going to work with my life now? And,
Yeah.
so I never like gave him a firm yes. It just was like, I guess, I think
Oops.
like, what happened was, like when they had talked or when he had talked or whatever with LP, it was just kind of like everyone was like, all right, well, Brad's coming back. Cause I just kind of
Just
turned
hey,
into
by the
that,
way, Brad's back.
I mean, I ultimately wanted to do it. I was just hesitant because I think there definitely part of me was hesitant because of the way I had to leave before. Like
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that again.
Yeah, and I
It's
I
not
realized that had to be hard. Like, that had to be a very difficult kinda, like, internal, like, struggle kinda situation where you're like, "This is what happened before. I have to be 100 like, I have to be all in on this."
Yeah, and I didn't I wanted to make sure like my family would be okay with it. I wanted to make sure like Like, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't in a situation where I had to bail on them again, and it's just not fair, then stuff like that happens, and I already feel bad because, like, in 2015, like, 2 weeks before we were supposed to go to Australia, that's when I broke my arm, yeah.
Mm,
So, at that point, they had already made plans and everything and, getting visas and stuff like that. We asked like a million people. We asked Kyle, who was the guy that played in the band. He didn't record the record, but he played Sincerity, he played on Wolf Biker, and he played on Almost Home.
wow.
So, I mean, he was definitely like, and I tell people all the time, like, 'cause he doesn't really play anymore, and it kinda bums me out too, But, but he's got, like, a business that he runs in Nashville, and, it's not it's the kinda job where he can't be, like, gone or anything, and
Yeah.
he even said he would have loved to have done Australia. He's like, "I just literally can't walk away and do that?"
Yeah.
But I feel like his playing, like, made me so much better because I had to learn his parts, and
Dialed
like,
in. Yeah.
they were, like, 25% above my capability. So, it was nice because it was, like, close enough that I could see that there could be a finish line to get to those points, so that it, like, inspired me to, like, go for, you know what I mean? It's not like if they were playing, like, double strokes on their feet at 300 BPM, like, I can't. Like,
Yeah, I
that's I'm
can't do
just
that.
not I don't know, I don't have the time, I don't have, like, the knowledge. I mean, I feel like I'd need to sit with a private teacher to learn something like that? And it's not part of my style anyway. I had, like, such respect. Like, we play actually, the last show I played with Evergreen, we played Lorna Shore, and watching Austin Archie, I was just like, "Oh my god, dude." Because people are, of course, online, they're always like, "Oh, it's fake," or, it's like, "It's on track." So I'm like, "No, he's actually probably playing harder than you do." And but not just like to play hard, like I mean, he just like, he has so much power and control. And I have no idea how he got to that spot. It's funny because like that was I mean, that was the first and only time I'd ever met him. And I was like, dude, I don't know how you do that. And he was like, I call it spray and pray, baby. Like, the click starts and I just go for it.
Oh my god, that's fantastic. Well, man, we could probably talk about this all night, but I definitely want to talk to you again, like once the tour, like once you get a few shows in you and
For
see
sure.
how that feels, man. Because honestly, it's kind of a big deal. Like, kind of this band being a staple, at least I think we're at 27 years roughly from when it
Yeah, yeah.
started. And I remember, not being a diehard fan, but like finding you guys later, which would have been about the time you were playing with the band anyway. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool how that all worked out. And then honestly, since we started talking the last like 3 or 4 weeks, it's just been on repeat, man. And it brought me back to a time where I was like, where I first found the heavier music and where I
Yeah, I
first
mean,
found that stuff.
I am definitely I kinda feel like I almost feel like Art Cruz from Lamb of God, or like when Jason Newsted joined Metallica, it's like I was definitely a fan first,
Yeah. I think
you
that
know?
that helps.
Yeah, for sure, because I feel like I can kinda see when someone's trying to tell me something, like, I can kinda see what they're going for, like, or like, it's great because of somebody will be like, "What if it's like this?" And I'm like, I
What
would
if
have
it
never
isn't?
thought of that.
Yeah.
Like actually, the new song that we recorded, it had demo drums on, like, finger drums, and, like, I made it my own, but I definitely took the like, meat and potatoes from what he had put, and I was like, "Yes," like, I would have never heard it like that, you know?
Yeah. It's crazy how that can work. And I know, bringing it up again, when Portnoy took over for Avenged Sevenfold,
Yeah.
I didn't know for years that Jimmy had already written all those parts.
Well, I didn't know that either.
but Portnoy played it in a way that was still respectful to him. Because from what I understand, he played it exactly how Jimmy wrote it, but it just sounded so clean. It just sounded so
Yeah.
good.
Dude, I have to tell you, like, so if you look on YouTube, you could find it. Probably be just like Google search Brad Moxey, Mike Portnoy. But this guy Steve Jano that I knew in Jacksonville, he had like an online zine, and he would shoot like all the big shows and stuff. And when Mike Portnoy was playing in Adrenaline Mob
Oh,
after after Dream Theater, they were
yeah.
playing like club size shows and stuff. And he was like, "Would you be?" Because he knew me, he's like, "Would you be interested in interviewing Mike Portnoy?" And like, of course, I was like, "Yeah,"
Yeah.
like, no, of course, no problem, right? But I will tell you that when he walked off the bus, I immediately was like, "I don't want to do this. I'm very nervous. I don't want to be here." Because it was like strange to see someone like, I'm like, dude, you have no idea. I've probably spent like $300 on your DVDs.
Yep, the In Constant Motion one specifically, like,
God.
the Hudson Music, like, the double VH.
Dude, and I saw in an interview somewhere because he does those Metal Allegiance tours
Yeah.
that people were saying like, obviously he's incredible technical wizard, great time, great feel, all that. But they're like, dude, he is an encyclopedia.
Yep.
Like you can be like, let's play the sixth song on King Crimson's record that came out 1984, and he's like, he has at least a good ballpark idea.
Let's see if I could do this again. So that drum head that's right behind me came from when Beat came, the King Crimson, and Danny Carey played drums.
I'm
And
jealous.
dude, that whole I'm not gonna lie, I'm not old enough to appreciate King Crimson at the beginning, but I was not missing that show specifically
Yeah,
because it was Danny Carey, and I fell in love with the music. I was like, "This is weird. This is all over the place," and they never most of that stuff was recorded with multiple drummers at the same time. It wasn't
oh
just
my
Bill
god.
Bruford, like, there were so many moving parts to that, so I love that you brought up that because it's like, Portnoy's over here. I was like, then that one, like you've literally like named everything behind me without naming everything behind me. So I got to get
Yeah,
better at this, this stuff because, going back and forth and mirroring. But yeah, man,
yeah.
what was that like? Like, what was it like? Because you said you didn't want to do it, but I'm
No, it's
assuming,
like I did, but you know what I mean? It's like when people skydive and they're like, "Yeah, I can't wait," and then they're like looking over the edge and they're like, I don't know."
yep, I
No,
don't,
it was fine. There's a lot of roasting me in the comments because I was like obviously nervous, and everything he said, I just said, "Awesome,
awesome.
awesome,
Yep,
awesome,
yep.
awesome." Like over, it's like on repeat. But no, he was like super nice, and actually, a friend of mine ended up going to the show, and he was like friends with the guys in the band.
Hmm.
Because at that time they had John Moyer, who is the bass player for Disturbed, was playing with them, and
Yep.
they knew each other. And I remember we were like on the bus, and then Mike Portnoy was like saying hi to everyone, and then he looked at me and he goes, "Hello again." I was
That,
like, "I
yep.
look like a creep right now." Okay,
I've met Portnoy twice. I met him at Seminole Music in 2007.
nice. That's
Shout out
peak years.
Yeah, shout out John Spinelli, who, yeah, that's another thing we'll talk about here in a second. But and I remember they were like, hey, like they had him behind like a glass case and he was signing everything. Like it was like in front of him, like a display case was in front of him. And they're like, Portnoy doesn't like people touching him, like, don't like,
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah, I was like 21, and we get up there. I get to talk to him, and I handed my buddy the camera. I was like, on the count of three, I just need you to take this picture. And he's like, one, two, three. And I literally jumped across the counter, put my arm around him, and he took the picture. And Portnoy just looked at me like, not cool, man. And I was like, I was a kid, like at that
yeah,
point.
yeah.
And then when they came for the Parasomnia tour, I saw him in Orlando and in Clearwater. And I did the VIP in Orlando, and I got up to him, and I just went, like, I just completely like blanked. Like it
Oh
was
yeah,
one of
you
those
have all
moments
these
where
things that you rehearse that you're gonna say or ask or
we, It's crazy to think that because I got them to sign Scenes from Memory. Like I've talked about how much that influenced my music taste, drumming, like everything for the rest
Yeah.
of my life. And the band was just so cool. Like getting to meet every single one of them, got a picture with them. But we talk about those moments where the interview aspect. A couple years ago, I got to interview Bruce Dickinson.
Nice.
Was not ever something I thought was going to happen. Had nothing to do with Iron Maiden. That was the crazy part. But a guy I worked with at my full time job was like, we're on Facebook and he's like, hey, anybody want to interview Bruce Dickinson? And I went, yeah, sure. And he messaged me and he goes, are you serious? I went, wait, you're serious? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Because he had come out with the Mandrake Project and like his comic book and all that. And it was like a nerd website that my buddy worked for. So I go, let me think about it. I said, because I like Iron Maiden. I was like, but I felt like I needed to be a diehard fan to
Yeah.
really like get into it. And I called my buddy and I'm on the phone with him and he's like, it's up to you. Like you decide. And I was supposed to be meeting somebody in St. Pete and I got down to St. Pete. My buddy goes, oh, I'm going to be about an hour late. And I said, oh, I'll just go grab a drink, you know, at the brewery down there. And I walked into the brewery and Iron Maiden was playing on the radio. And I went, okay, that was my sign.
Oh my god.
And I was supposed to interview him, got laryngitis. We had to reschedule. I thought, man, that's it. That's it. And I prepared like all this stuff. I was like, I'm gonna have all these questions, which I don't normally do. And I remember starting the interview and I said, we could sit here and talk about, everything you've accomplished from this to this to this to this. And he just
Yeah.
goes, please don't. And my like stomach dropped because I went, "Oh no." And he goes, "I need my head to fit out the door when I walk out of here." And I started laughing so hard because I was like, "He told a joke." And so I'll make sure to send you the link, but it was one of the craziest things that's ever
Please
happened
do.
because I never thought that was something that would happen. And I feel like, coming full circle, Brad Moxey back in Evergreen Terrace in 2026, doing shows. Like, I'm gonna do everything I can to be at that June 6th show. Like, it's about an hour and a half,
It's
but
my
man,
first one back. Yeah.
oh man, now I gotta go.
You can watch me have, like, my like, first song jitters, you know?
Listen,
Because no
we've all
matter how pumped you are, still, when you haven't done it a long time, it's still nerve-wracking, you know?
I'm nervous for every podcast. I'm nervous before any photo shoot, like anything I do, man. I'm nervous before any of that stuff. And I think
Yeah.
the nerves drive us to be better. Like we have to
Yeah.
overcome the nerves. And once we put all that energy into overcoming those nerves, we're like, I've been here before. I've done this
Yeah.
before. Let's go. So, well, I think you just tipped my hand there because now the first show back, man, that's gonna be good. Yeah, so June 6th, Bradenton, the Obscura. Are, you guys are playing with two other band? Was it two other bands or was
3
it
other
three
bands.
other bands? Okay. And then I'll put the link in the description for anybody who wants to read past the first paragraph because I realize nobody reads past that anymore.
That's right. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I mean, we're gonna play a new song too, which I mean, look, Evergreen Terrace put out a record in 2013. They put out 2 songs last year.
Yeah,
So you think about that gap, and now we're doing like one other song. It's like it's like special in a way, you know. I mean, it's
for sure.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for it. I'm sure everybody else is. I'll throw in my little spiel. Jerseys for Drummers makes these. He also made Portnoy's, Mangini's, Alex Petropoulos from Pigeons Playing Ping Pong, Carter Beauford, Dave Matthews. Like he makes
Nice.
all of those. So it's a really cool and Joe's a really great guy. Stay Tuned Records, anybody who's been watching the last few weeks, they finally got the floors redone. It's a record store over here in Tarpon and the tenant above them flooded and it just destroyed thousands of dollars in records, like things that can't be replaced, like money can't replace some of those
Right.
items. So they've been really pushing to kind of get everything back, and I know they just got the floors done, so I'm hoping they're going to be open again this weekend. So anybody who's looked at them, shared the story, anything else, like I know they're super grateful. And once again, I'm not sponsored by them, just Doug and Amy are two of the coolest people I've ever met. They're our age. And when you find people like that who love records, who love the
Yeah.
tangible media that we're missing, and it's like, there's records all behind me. Led Zeppelin 2 came from them. There's a Batman 1 behind me. I think
Nice.
the Batman soundtrack. I know on two. That's
Nice.
Held is back there, but I had to order that. I ordered that like 7 months ago. Josh from Coheed, like it was his side project. So I was like, I'm curious about that. So I
That's cool.
yeah, man, and I'm all about it. And then, going back to it, I don't know how much if I'm gonna have the time, but Stub Forge, people are missing concert tickets and having the ability to print out your own concert tickets for stuff like that. So generally I try to bring one to the show, but they come from Canada and I know my timing's a little cutting it short, but I'm going to do my best to try and get one so that I can bring one to the show. I think that'd be really cool.
Hell yeah.
Love to, chat some more and
For sure.
yeah, I think I've committed at this point. I think that's everybody
Yeah,
heard it
man.
now.
No, yeah. I mean, I definitely think we share a lot of common ground, you know?
Oh, for sure. And the fact that we were both at the Metallica show in Tampa is crazy. It's
Yeah.
really crazy to think. Yes, there were 100,000 other people there.
Yeah.
I'm solid with that. So if there's anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to take the time, like this is your stage now. So, do your thing, man.
Yeah, definitely want to thank everyone who kind of helped me get to this point. Elisa's helped me out. That's a pad that I use for like clicks and some beats and stuff. Vader sticks, and I'll have to show you this one. Hopefully, I can do it right. I don't know if you could see. It is. Can you see that?
I'll say pull it back a little bit. Ooh,
How does it say? Can you see where it
Kyle
says Kyle
Smith
Smith?
forever. Oh,
So, yeah, do you know about that or no?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was the guy that filled in for me in Evergreen a lot,
Yeah.
and we were
Say,
all, like, really good friends with him. Yeah, he passed away in a car crash, like, about a year
I was
ago.
gonna say last year. Yeah.
Like, almost exact I think it was in February last year.
Jeez.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're just trying to kinda keep his memory alive, and,
Are
I
those
mean
are those prototypes or are those gonna be
yeah, no, I've got a bunch of them printed up.
That's amazing. I love that. And I think that does it justice. And we didn't even talk about Kyle in this sense, but I know we mentioned him and kind of brought it up, but we didn't get to that part. And, it sucked. Like seeing
Yeah,
that.
it
And
Yeah, man. I'm trying to think who else. All clear audio for in-ears, Gibraltar for the hardware, SJC for the drums. And I used to be a Zildjian artist. I'm hoping to get back with them, but just budgets from the economy and stuff are just tight kind of
yeah.
everywhere. So I still am playing them. I'm actually playing Craig Reynolds' ride, which is like the best ride I've ever played in my life. It's that K projection ride. It's like the
Oh,
crashable ride
mm.
with it's not like a mega bell, but it's a bigger bell. So it's a nice, but
It's a
it still
metal
sounds good.
essential. It's a metal essential is that bell.
Yeah, and it's not the mega bell. It's not like, like the Vinnie Paul giant thing, it's a very musical bell and, the symbol, it's just super sick. I love it. And I don't have a drumhead endorsement, but Remo, if you're listening, I still want one because I will continue to buy them even if you don't give them to me or whatever.
The way I look at it, if any of these companies are watching and give anyone an endorsement off of this, I'll be happy.
Heck yeah.
So Remo, we're calling you out, man.
That's right. The guy's name's Roger Johnson. I've talked to him a few times. He's very cool. He actually sent me a care package once of like basically a full set of heads.
Jeez.
But they're, it's just hard, especially companies like that,
You
I'm
gotta
just
know the right
not.
sometimes you just gotta know the right people, and, I doubt they're gonna be there, but I know Florida Drum Fest is coming up in September, and I'd be remiss if I didn't bring that up because we're gonna be there. So,
Nice.
it's in Eustis, so I know it's still about 2 hours from Jacksonville,
Oh,
but
it's not
that's in
bad.
September.
I'm actually in Ocala.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone else is in Jacksonville. So,
Yeah. So I'm just north of Clearwater, so I'm really not that far.
okay,
So we're like an hour and a half, maybe?
that's crazy.
But yeah, I'll send you the details on that, and I'm just excited for that because it's the first time like the podcast will be not necessarily like doing a full episode in person, but it's the first time like being out of this room for something
Nice.
like that. So it's kind of a big deal, and yeah, who knows who's gonna be there? So I'll keep my eye out. If I see anybody with Remo, I'll be like, hey, come here, come
That's
here.
right.
Come,
That's right.
we got to talk real quick. But Brad, thank you so much, man. I
Thank you
really
for having
appreciate
me.
it, and welcome back to the scene. That's all I have to say. Is
Thanks, man.
it's how this scene treats people, and it's the best way possible because the love is just there, and I think that room is going to erupt when you guys take the stage.
Thanks, man. I hope so. I have in a way like forgotten what that feeling is, you know.
Yeah, well, I'll make sure that at least one person's yelling really loud for
There you go. There you go.
if it's only one, be like, no, no, that guy needs to leave. That guy needs to leave.
All
But Brad, thank you again, and thanks everybody for watching.
right, appreciate
Hey guys, if you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe to the DrumQuig podcast. Thank you so much.